Hello friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story in which our OP complains a little bit about his HOA because they always have absurd rules. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. HOA warning for garage door left open. Ever since my HOA changed management companies, the new management company, let's call them Poopity Scoop Management, has been doing frequent inspections. Literally, people walking around with clipboards and taking photos and mailing warning letters to everyone. This time I got a violation letter about my garage door being left open. When did the violation occur? On a Monday at 2 p.m., aka around the time my fiancé would be home for a lunch break to walk the dog. They even included a photo of it, LOL. My email conversation with the HOA as follows. Me. I recently received a very confusing letter from Poopity Scoop Management alleging that on Monday, 7/18/22 at 2 p.m., our garage door was left open. This is confusing because this would be around the time that my fiancé gets home from work for his lunch break and then goes to take out the dog for his afternoon bathroom break. The garage was not open for more than an hour, and we were home at that time. Of course, we would not leave our garage door open unattended or while not at home. But to receive a violation notice for using our garage door while at home or literally just around the corner to get our dog to go to the bathroom logistically does not feel right. I kindly ask that this warning/violation notice be removed from our record/homeowner file, as we would like to not incur any potential future fines for anything that Poopity Scoop Management would decide to consider as a first offense, etc. Thank you so much. HOA Response 1. Good morning and thank you for your email. So this may have been a timing issue when we walked the property and the garage door was open. We are obligated to send out the warning letters when we do our inspections. This was just a warning letter and not a fine letter. My reply. Thank you. I would just like to make sure that since the warning was incorrectly issued, that it's not held against us if the next warning that would be issued would be considered as a first offense. If we do receive another notice for this, it should be considered a warning again. HOA Response 2. Greetings. Just to be clear, this warning was not incorrectly issued. The door was open when we did out our inspection, so we're obligated to issue the violation notice. So I guess I have to live in fear of using my own garage door at the wrong time? Huh? So you get a warning letter when the garage door is seen open? So essentially, it's against the rules to use the garage door? WTF? And our next story. Our patience is not unlimited. When I sold cars, I had a customer come in on a Grand Cherokee Limited. We had one left over that was new, but a previous model year with a significant discount. This was the last one at that price. Well, the customer bought it. He had an inspection on the vehicle prior to purchase, and he was a bit anal on its condition. But hey, he was spending good money on the vehicle. When our lot tech went to go grab the vehicle to be detailed, the lot tech took a turn too sharp and rubbed up against a concrete barrier. The passenger side door paint was all jacked up and was obviously in need of repair. The customer was informed, and we went over his options. At this point, he was not the owner of the vehicle, and if he wanted to, he could back out. So his options were as follows. Back out of the deal completely and walk away with his trade/deposit/etc. We'd let him change to a different vehicle and he'd get $1,000 extra off. We'd repair the vehicle at our body shop. In addition, we'd discount the car another $500. We'd allow him to have another shop of his choosing repair the vehicle with a max cap of $500 in repair. In addition, we'd discount the car an additional $500. Both repair options involved him keeping his trade until the repair was complete, so he'd have a vehicle to drive. He opted for option C. So he took off in his trade, and we told him we'd call him in the morning after our body shop gave us a time estimate on how long it'd take to fix. He agreed and left. Next day we called him and told him how long it'd take to fix, and he said fine, he'll come back in then to make sure it's all good. A few days later, the repair's completed. I inspect it, looks good. My GM inspects it, looks good to him, repair was perfectly fine. He comes in and immediately complains the paint doesn't match. We explain the paint does match, our body shop is certified, and this is a brand new car we work on often. We ask him to point out where the paint doesn't match. He's unable to point it out because the paint does match. Then he goes on about how we need to discount the vehicle more since its value has been diminished. We ask him what he's talking about. He says when a car's in an accident, you get a check for the reduced value. We point out the fact that the total repair was under $500. Also, the accident wasn't reported as we dealt with it in-house, so it'd never pop up on a Carfax or anything like that. Long story short, he takes the vehicle. A week later, he calls me and tells me he's not happy and wants to get the vehicle fixed at another repair shop. I go to my manager, and my manager really doesn't want to say yes, so my manager tells him that he needs to pick a repair shop, and I'll go with him. If the repair shop says the paint matches, it's final and done. If the repair shop says the paint doesn't match, we'll pay the shop to make the paint match. He chooses his repair shop, which is a well-known body shop in the area. He picks me up, we go to the repair shop. Repair shop, who's independent of us by the way, looks at the vehicle and says they can't tell the door's been painted, the paint matches. To which he asked the repair shop if the fact the door had been in an accident would it reduce the value of the vehicle. The shop even backs us up by saying no, because you can't tell, and unless we filled an accident report or made a claim with insurance, which we didn't, it wouldn't even show up. He's frustrated at this point because the shop won't agree the paint doesn't match, because the paint did match. We go back to my dealership. He's not happy. My GM makes the unusual gesture of saying, "We still have your trade. If you want to return the vehicle, we'll unwind the deal. You take your trade back and we part ways." He goes, "No, I just want you to make things right." To which my GM basically says, "We let you pick an independent repair shop. They agreed that the paint matches. The paint matches. If you're still unhappy, let's just take your car back. We give you your trade back and we go our separate ways because it's quickly becoming obvious you won't be happy." He doesn't want to do that and he leaves. 2 weeks later, he calls me. By this point, his car is fully registered and titled, meaning if we took it back, it'd be treated as a used car. He wants us to refund $1,000 for his troubles. We tell him no. He then asks if we can unwind the deal. We take a massive financial loss if we did that, and we tell him no. The back and forth gets heated, and I'm exhausted, so I hang up on him, which was wrong of me. He then complained. His complaint quickly escalated to the dealership's owner. I was told the owner was going to meet with the customer, which was very rare, and it was likely I'd be suspended for 5 days. Apparently, in the meeting with the owner, things got heated. The owner made him an offer which included a $500 refund, plus he can have the repair shop that he went to repaint the door, again, just to be safe. The counter apparently was a $500 refund, and he can have the repair shop repaint the door at our expense, and my termination for disrespecting him. That last part rubbed the owner the wrong way. So the final offer was the customer's blacklisted from ever doing service, warranty work, or purchasing another vehicle from us, and he gets absolutely nothing in terms of compensation. My GM called me aside and told me I should feel lucky that the customer royally pissed off the owner and that I wasn't going to get suspended. It must be great for him to have this much free time to devote to a battle you're going to lose. I could not do your job, sir. And our last story. We comply with neighbors' parking rules, which would cause him more problems than us. This situation happened a couple of years ago when I would meet up at a friend's house every Monday evening to play board games with him and a now married couple. We're going to say that the friend's name is Matt. Matt lives in one of those neighborhoods where the houses are really close together and there are a million cars parked on the street. One evening, we were wrapping up for the night and just chatting when we heard a knock at the door. It was the neighbor across the street, and he was very upset that someone had parked in front of his house because that spot belonged to him. The car belonged to the married couple, who quickly apologized and said they were leaving shortly. They rushed to get their things together so they could move the car and avoid conflict. However, I had a different reaction. I thought it was extremely rude for him to knock on our door and demand us to move. I told the neighbor that there were no assigned or claimed spots and that you could park wherever you wanted. Obviously, you park in front of your own house or the house you're visiting if you can, but otherwise just park wherever there's an available spot. He didn't seem to have a good counter to my argument, but still continued to argue that he didn't want us to park in front of his house. Most houses on the street have enough room for one street-parked vehicle on one side of the driveway, while the other side was often unusable due to it being too close to the neighbor's driveway. Best case scenario, on the shorter side, you would have a small spot that would be partially in front of both houses. Due to the odd shape of Matt's lot, which was narrow in the back and wider at the front, he had a lot more space in front of his house on one side than most other houses, enough for 3 cars. This is where the malicious compliance comes in. The married couple gets into their car and leaves, complying with the neighbor's wishes. Matt decides to give in as well and plays along with the neighbor's rules. He points to the 3 vehicles nearby and asks, whose cars are those and why are they parked in front of my house? The neighbor looked dumbfounded, and after a moment of silence, he admits that 2 of those vehicles belong to his family. Matt replies, so according to your rules, you should not be parking in front of my house. The neighbor looked stunned, as his rules were actually going to hurt him much more than they would hurt us. Matt only had to worry about his and his roommate's car, which would both fit in his driveway. He only needed street parking when people would occasionally come over. The neighbor had a full driveway and 3+ cars on the street that he needed spots for on a daily basis. He didn't have enough street spaces that would clearly belong to him using his rules. The neighbor walked away in defeat, but apparently argued more with Matt after I left. The pandemic hit shortly after and we canceled our in-person game nights, and I'm pretty sure the neighbor continued to park in front of other people's houses, which is what everyone else does there anyways. I can picture the neighbor's Pikachu face after listening to your friend's counter-argument. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.